Let's bring in committee to unleash prosperity, co-founder and former senior economic advisor to President Donald Trump in the first term. Stephen Moore joins us now. Steve, good to see you. Let's talk about this jobs number, first of all. It came in very weak compared to what we were expecting. And the expectations were not that high. The expectations were for about 110. We got 73 instead. Now, Jerome Powell, the head of the Fed, this week refused to lower the interest rate at all. He kept it the way it was. He must have known some of the data points that were leading to this very poor job stat, and yet he still stubbornly refused to lower rates. I mean, what do you make of that?
Well, listen, I think that Powell has been an incompetent Fed chairman, no question about it. He was the one who let the inflation go up to 9.1%. And when Biden was president, and it was too tight, and Trump's first term almost caused a recession. And he's very tight right now. And that has certainly taken some of the wind out of the sails of the economy. I do think, though, that the big story here as we look at these revisions, and that's the big story here, is that I do think that some of the tariff turmoil that we saw, remember, in April and May, really contributed to some of the weak job numbers that we now see. The other thing I want to point out, David, is that I don't know anything about this woman who was running the Bureau of Labor Statistics, but I will say this, that I've never seen anything like these massive revisions, that, not just under Trump, but under Biden. The initial estimates have been so off, so they're not. It's like a blind person.
Let me be specific, Stephen. Let me just be specific. Taking from Donald Trump's Truth Social that he put out at 2 p.m. saying he was going to fire her. Her name is Erica McIntyre. I'm probably messing up her last name, but she's the Commissioner of Labor Statistics. And I'm reading now from Donald Trump's Truth Social. He says, this is the same Bureau of Labor Statistics that overstated the jobs growth in March 2024 by approximately 818,000. And then again, right before the 2024 presidential election in August and September by 112,000. And again, she is an appointee of Biden. So the fact that she was there, not only did she make a lot of mistakes during the Biden administration, but the suggestion is that she was playing politics right before the election.
I don't know. I can't really comment on that, whether she was playing politics. But what I can tell you is that she isn't a very good estimator of the jobs, because the numbers have been all over the place. And I am also told by my sources at BLS that they are going to, they do all these re-estimates over time, and there's a good sense that they may revise downward the jobs created by Biden by another 500,000 or so. So those are gigantic errors, and so I think she needed to be fired just because of incompetence. We had a good friend of mine, Bill Beach, was running the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and then he got fired by Biden, and all of the reforms that were put in place to have a better procedure were eliminated under this woman. So it was time for her to go.
Well, and then you have the Fed governor resigning today, and Adriana Huger, I think is the way you pronounce her name. So once again, there's pressure on the Fed, and of course it leads to the top. I mean, is there any chance that perhaps by approximation of what some of his underlings are doing, that Powell himself might resign before his term ends in May?
Boy, there sure is a lot of pressure on him right now, no question about it. And as I said, I think that his record is spotty, to put it charitably. I think he should do the right thing and resign. The president doesn't want him. There's a big debate about whether Trump has the legal authority to fire Powell, but he's been very political, and he's the one who's always saying, "Oh, we have to have political separation between the presidency and the Fed." But he's, in my opinion, the most political Fed chairman that I've seen in my lifetime.
Now let's talk trade, because we are on pace to get more than $200 billion this year from revenue coming from all the tariffs. You and I both had questions about the tariffs, whether it was too blunt an instrument to be used in all these trade talks. But so far, so good, at least in terms of the revenue and the deals that are coming in. He did announce today that there's more pressure on Canada now. He's upped the ante on Canada because they haven't cooperated as he wants them to on the issue of fentanyl. But what's your final analysis of that? Was Donald Trump right at the get-go on tariffs, and people like us were wrong?
Well, look, I'm of two minds of it. Number one, I don't like tariffs generally because I'm more of a free trade guy. But Trump, I am impressed with these trade deals, and they are a better deal for American manufacturers and farmers and our technology companies that were being discriminated against. But I think as we look back at the first few months of the Trump presidency and the quote Liberation Day, that caused a lot of havoc and a lot of problems for our manufacturers. Because remember, almost everything that's produced in the United States also involves imports, David.
Yeah.
And it caused a lot of problems in terms of being able to get the supplies and the supply chain, finished in ways that we could produce things. So I like the trade deals. I'm not a big fan of the tariffs.
But, it can be argued without that pressure, he would not have gotten the goals. He would not have reached his goals of getting them to pay their fair share, to borrow an expression from the Biden administration. The fact is, he's changing the whole world economic order that goes way back to the end of World War II. It was time for a change quickly.
Yeah, it was putting America first, and it took the "kick me" sign off of us and told these other companies that they had to comply with, and it's basically saying we're going to have a fair and level playing field. Who could be against that?
Exactly. Steve Moore, have a wonderful weekend, my friend. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.